Um, I'd like to thank you all for being here today. Welcome everyone, wherever you may be. We are, our boardroom and on Field Road is located within the traditional territory of the Sechelt First Nation. Some of our people today are located on the Squamish First Nation, and so just want to acknowledge both of our First Nations partners and thank them for the land that they allow us to meet and work on, and this great place in which we live. So we have an agenda in front of us for the Regional Hospital District. I'm going to look to staff first and see, is there any additions to this agenda as we have it? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to ask for a motion to adopt the agenda, please. So moved, seconded. All those in favor? Motion carries. Okay. Just hang on one second. Multiple devices is a little bit interesting, isn't it? Okay, so we have our minutes, Annex A, pages 1 through 3 of our package. And these, the Sunshine Coast Regional District inaugural board meeting minutes of January 23rd, 2020. If I could have a motion to receive and adopt, please. So moved, seconded. Welcome, David. Glad to see you made it. Are there any errors, additions, or changes to these minutes? Okay, seeing nobody jumping around, I'm gonna call the question. All those in favor? Motion carries. Okay, do we have any business arising from the minutes or unfinished business? Anything from directors? Staff? Seeing none?
No,
we haven't.
Sorry, Dean
yeah,
here.
Dean?
My apologies. I can now hear. Thanks, Bryce, off line for helping me out. I just wanted to say, if someone hasn't already said it, and I apologize if it already got mentioned, we're juggling 3 or 4 simultaneous starting and stopping Zoom meetings out of Tracy's control center, I'm going to call it. We haven't had to do this many at one time before, so I know our IT staff and Tracy have got a lot of juggling. We're hoping that it all goes smoothly. If it doesn't, it's just because she's probably over there, like whatever she's doing, she's dancing. And please, let's just be patient and hope it goes well. Sorry, that's okay. I'll mute my line.
Okay, great. Thank you, CAO. I will say very, very appreciative to our administrative and our IT staff. You've been very, very helpful through a very challenging time. So thank you. And I know there's a lot of juggling going on there. Okay, so we have no presentations and delegations, but we do have reports. If I can have a motion to receive the reports, please. So moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Oh, nothing.
Okay. Dean, I'm going to ask you to mute yourself if you're not speaking, please.
I've got I've got my wrong one muted. I was just going to grab my other computer, and I apologize for that.
Okay. All right. Corporate officer, please.
Thank you. Just for the record, I'm noticing Director McMahon may have left the meeting, and I'm also wondering who iPhone is.
Oh, okay. iPhone, that?
iPhone's me. Sorry, Sherry, my computer, I've got some issues with it this morning. So I'm on the video, there is Dean, but I'm also on iPhone. I will now mute again before I forget.
Okay, I can rename as Dean. There, how's that?
Has Director McMahon left the meeting? That's the other thing I would confirm.
Oh, her wireless, I just got a message from her. Director McMahon's wireless is down.
Thank you.
Okay, and pardon the four-legged member of the public in the background, please. I'll try to mute when I'm not talking. Okay, so we'll have Director McMahon up shortly when her wireless is back. Okay, so we've received the reports. And I'm going to put it over to our Chief Financial Officer regarding the 2020 Sunshine Coast Regional Hospital District final budget, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. So we adopted the provisional budget back in October, and so the final budget has changed just slightly, and that's as a result of a few different changes that have been summarized in the report. So the tax requisition has decreased by about $39,000 over 2019, and that's as a result of some long-term debt coming off the books, as well as some administrative fees and prior surpluses coming forward. Just to highlight some of the key items within the budget, we have had a change in our minor and capital equipment request by Vancouver Coastal Health. So the minor equipment carry forward amount for 2020 is 1.1 million. And as was presented by Vancouver Coastal Health, there is a plan to go forward to expend those funds in this fiscal period. We also had some major capital equipment come forward for a request, which was approved, and that was for motor control center, generator, 3 chillers, and an oxygen system, totaling $922,000 for this particular budget. So those have been included, and so that's some of the changes for the final budget. So overall, the tax requisition has also rate has changed. It's gone down to approximately $9.14 per 100,000 of assessment, where it was about $9.25. Again, understanding that the final assessment values are not received until March 31st. So that may change just very slightly for the final budget. So with that, I can take any questions if there are any.
Okay, great. Thank you to our CFO. Am I seeing any questions from directors? Director Ties.
Thank you. I'm just wondering, since there has been, since COVID is hugely influential on the operations of the hospital at this point in time, I'm wondering if any indication that there's a change in plans or a change in equipment or that you've heard at this point.
Go ahead, Tina.
We have not received any indication by the hospital, by any of the staff, that they have any changes for those. What we understand is those equipment were failing, so they're end of useful lives, and they are quite critical for the operations of the hospital. So I would anticipate that those projects do go forward. One of the items too that I note is that a couple of the carry forward projects that were there for quite some time have been removed off the budget per Vancouver Coastal Health. So my apologies for not mentioning that. And that was the chillers, no, not the chillers, but the washer decontaminators and one component of the closed loop medication system. So those were carry forwards from 2015 and 2016. And so those were probably completed per their staff in other means. So there wasn't a request from the hospital district. So as far as the minor equipment, we did as early as last week get a letter from Vancouver Coastal Health Seashell Hospital staff requesting a letter to confirm the RHD's commitment for this funding. So that would indicate to us that they do still continue or plan to expend the funds.
Thank you. I have Director Lee, but Director Lee, before you speak, I just want to, we do have Director McMahon back. Donna, can you hear me? Because I have it indicated that you should be able to speak if you're unmuted on your own device. Okay, we'll continue to try that. We do have Director McMahon listening in. Okay, so we'll go to Director Lee, please.
I understand we might need some extra equipment, such as more ventilators, maybe more minor materials. Do we need to okay that, or do they have a fund where they can access that immediately to get that stuff?
Okay, CFO.
So we have not had any communication from the Seashell Hospital or Vancouver Coastal Health. So what I would say that at this point, we do continue to communicate them through the Emergency Operations Center and through various different facets of communication that's going on within the community. And so, what I would say to that is if there is an indication by Vancouver Coastal Health that there is a desire to potentially change some of the type of equipment that they proposed purchasing out of that $1.1 million, then that would be something that we most certainly could very quickly try to work with them. Those funds there too, the plan that they present to us, it's not restricted per se. We don't hold them to that. There's no policy or procedure to say that the type of equipment they presented to us. So there is that fund there. And so we could always work with them if there's any changes. And if there's any changes over and above, then we most certainly could bring that forward to the hospital district for consideration.
Okay. Directors, any other questions? I do have a note from Director McMahon, just for the record, that she can hear us, but she's on her desktop and she doesn't have a microphone. So she'll be passing along any questions via text message. Directors, any other questions? Oh, I'm going to go to Director Seegers.
I was going to move the recommendation on page 4.
Okay. So do I have a seconder to move that recommendation? Seconded, Director Ties. Any further comments on this? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to call the question on the recommendations. All those in favor? Okay. Any opposed? Okay, seeing none, that passes. So the next thing we have on our agenda, we have no communications motions, but we do have the bylaw to adopt the, for first, second, third readings and adoptions for the Sunshine Coast Regional Hospital, Sunshine Coast Regional Hospital District Annual Budget Bylaw number 89, 2020. May I get a motion for first reading, please? So moved and seconded. Any discussion on that? Any questions? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Motion carries. So that's for first reading. May I get a motion for second reading for Sunshine Coast Regional Hospital District Annual Budget and Bylaw number 89, 2020. For second reading, please. So moved and seconded. Okay. All those in favor? Motion carries. For Sunshine Coast Regional Hospital District Annual Budget Bylaw number 89, 2020, may I have a motion for third reading, please? So moved and seconded. All those in favor? Motion carries. And may I have a motion to adopt Sunshine Coast Regional Hospital District Annual Budget Bylaw number 89, 2020? So moved adoption and seconded. All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. So we have no new business. Anything else from staff before, and we are not going in camera, anything else from staff before we adjourn? Seeing none, I will ask for a motion to adjourn, please. So moved, seconded. All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. So we got a bit of a break until